this is a lesson for every one of us. If we are losing, hope or anything, uh, this situation should teach us to be grateful for at least being alive and for having the chance to make this world a better and a safer place. So right now, this is the burden for Ukraine to bear and to show how to stay humanistic, how to still, not to turn into anything uh, else. So as you see, we are still preserving these sense of being part of this world on the right side.
Following is a conversation with Igor Nalyvaiko, a Ukrainian journalist who is at an undisclosed location. He's currently working to fight the propaganda coming out of Russia about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I hope you'll take a moment to click subscribe wherever you're watching or listening, and click like, leave a rating and a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. And also take a moment of your time, if you will, and visit my Patreon page where I do have exclusive content there. This is not a normal episode for me. It is a little bit different. However, in trying to bring you stories of interesting people, a lot of times you'll hear stories of Mount Everest, explorers, people who have come out with films, adventurers. This is a story of a different type. This is an explorer and an adventurer of a truly unique and different type. This is about a journalist living in Ukraine who is in an undisclosed location right now, working tirelessly to try to stem the tide of propaganda about the war being shared by Russia, about why that war is taking place. I'm deeply inspired by the story of my guest today, Igor Nalyvaiko. He was on about a month or two ago telling me about the work that he's doing and the situation there in the Ukraine. I do not profess to be an expert on politics, and although I did share some thoughts in the context of this interview, I'm not making judgments on anything or anyone about their politics, particularly about some comments that we spoke about here in the United States. This is a story about somebody fighting to try to save not only himself, but about the Ukrainian people. I hope you'll take some time to listen and share it with those who you think might be interested.
It's been a while.
Yeah, thank you. You're probably I just, the fact that you're actually carving time out of your day to talk to me is, I'm blessed and honored. Hopefully one person, two people hear this and learn something and makes a decision to act or to help or to at least, be on your side. Honestly, I don't really know, but that's the goal.
So you're up to ask me anything that you need to know, any question that you would like me to shed light on. So first of all, I want to, as a starter for this conversation, I want to thank you for everyone who is supporting us, because honestly, we are feeling this support it's like it's pouring from everywhere, and it's making us even stronger. We understand that we are part of something much bigger, and that Ukraine is actually not alone. We are together with all of the rest of the world fighting the real evil, and I'm sure that together we are just doomed to win.
Amazing, amazing. Igor, so the idea of having lost so much and to be going through so much and feeling gratitude is really something that people outside of your situation should try to grasp onto, because there's a lot of complaining about a lot of things that really are meaningless, and to weigh that with what you're going through is really inspiring.
You know what? Yesterday I was translating the interview. I was asked to help to translate the interview of a woman who was evacuated from Kramatorsk. This is the city that was hit by the Russian missile. I don't know if you heard the situation. There was a huge number of people who were trying to get evacuated from that city, and Russian forces just hit the innocent people there. So I was just translating the information delivered to me from my colleague, and you know what? I thought that almost got adapted to this sort of information pouring every day. But it's not true, because every single time, when I'm getting anything like this, I feel it very personal. I don't know how this can influence that much, if you know what I mean. Like every single day I have to like scroll through the news. I'm reading them, translating them. So as I told you, me with a lot of other people from all over the world are delivering the accurate news to spread the information and fight the Russian propaganda. And every single time there is something that is making our hearts shattered. We thought that we've seen everything, but it's not, because every time there is something that is making us shiver even more. The atrocities that are getting disclosed every day are, the word horrible is not enough to describe that. I don't even want to tell you all of them, because I have a friend of mine who is right now serving, and he told that everything that is being shown to the world is not enough, because the atrocities are even worse. So if it's going to be shown and it's going to be disclosed soon, I'm not sure if people can actually survive that mentally and accept that mentally. So this is it.
Yeah. So you mean that the atrocities are so great that it would be almost overwhelming, too much for people to even be able to comprehend?
That's what I'm trying to say. So even right now, I think that people have seen a lot and they are ready to a lot, but what's being done and what's being not told yet, I'm not sure. I think that, of course, we will we don't have the choice not to accept that, and to somehow learn to live with that, and to, first of all, it's not just about us, it's about the world to learn with that, because it's not about the situation of Ukraine. So still, this is it. This is how it is. Oh, let's get back to the information that I was wanting to tell you. So I was translating that interview of the lady who was evacuated from Kramatorsk. So she was hit by the fragment, by these how to call that, this particle of the missile that that is hitting the
like
people
a ballistic
when it's
missile?
being exploded. So she was not hit directly, but she was hit by the fragment of the missile in her leg, and she survived. And the way she described the way she was evacuated, the way she tried to save her kids being in this situation, they were not hurt, luckily, and the way she preserved this sober mind, even being literally broken, she could not walk. Her leg was then her right leg was then amputated. She still is so positive about the life ahead, and this is a lesson for every one of us. If we are losing hope or anything, this situation should teach us to be grateful for at least being alive, and for having the chance to make this world a better and a safer place. So right now, this is the burden for Ukraine to bear, and to show how to stay humanistic, how to still, not to turn into anything else. So as you see, we are still preserving this sense of being part of this world on the right side, even when it comes to those who are attacking us. So this is, I was so much struck by her story, that even there, being, in this, being bleeding, being on the operation table, all she was thinking of was not, like how terrible it was. She was thinking, first of all, how to take care about her kids, and how to still remain sober, sane, and to be ready to restore the country and to restore her own life.
Mm.
So it's really inspirational.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful and painful but poignant story. When you are looking at the situation, obviously more atrocities and more of just the horrors of it all are coming to light through work of people such as yourself and other fellow journalists as well, and the people on the ground holding their cell phones and taking pictures. Um, do you feel that there's been a shift from where I stand and looking at the news? It seems that other countries, satellite countries like Finland and, are starting to say, hey, I don't think this is just going to be the Ukraine. It's time for us to really get ready for this and for what could be next. And with the idea of Russia supposedly wanting to annex parts of Ukraine, it does seem like the world is noticing in a different way. And I'm talking political powers willing to stand up to Russia or to Putin. Have you gotten that sense, or is that just some filtered through BS that I see in the news here?
You know what I see right now, that and what I like is that finally Europe realized that Russia is a problem. It's a threat, regardless of the resources and the fossils it has. Because basically, when you look at this country, fossils is everything that it has. So it's not there is not a, to my mind, it may sound a little bit weird, but when you live in a democratic society, you are able to produce something complicated for the world to use. Some products, I mean the complicated ones, because you have to use some weights for that. You have to, since you lack some resources or something, you need to think up of some more complicated ways to bring the life on a different level. But if you are stuck in in the period and with the resources that are, they're actually not endless, but still there are a lot of them, you don't quite care about how to evolve, both economically, mentally, artistically, you know what I mean. So I think that this is the main problem. They did not learn how to be more useful in some other ways rather than those they have. What I see right now on the political ground, so Finland and Sweden have already filed their applications to the NATO, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you trace the behavior of the Russian Federation and how this state treats their application, it's really hard to understand, because yesterday they said that they got nothing to do with their involvement, I mean, with the application of these two countries. And then today they started saying that they will respond them in a military way. So of course we can, considering previous claims of Russia, we can think that they are bluffing as usual, but still there is a threat and there are people's lives at stake. You can get me back to your question, because I got a little bit straight. Yeah.
Well, the prevailing thought was, at least from here, it looks like Finland and Sweden want to join NATO, and then Putin says, if you do, there's going to be trouble. But it's almost like, well, the trouble's not going to be any worse than if we do nothing. I mean, for sure. So it sounds like people are starting to take this in a way like this. Believe me, this goes well beyond the borders of Ukraine. And just kind of on a little side note, I have a friend, a parent of a friend of mine, is on a vacation in Slovenia right now. And I looked at the map, and I hadn't thought about this until I looked at the map. Oh, let me look at Slovenia. It's just a few hundred miles away from the war in Ukraine. And I thought, I almost don't know how people can live or bear the idea that it's so close, just these beautiful countries where people.
And for you to understand, a couple of days ago, a Russian missile hit a target 15 kilometers close to Poland, for you to understand. So basically, as far as I see, these are some, you know, some signs for other countries to back off. But what I'm seeing that, to be honest, Europe is just fed up with these threats. They're not that afraid anymore, and I appreciate that, because they got, you know, this feeling of, you know, let me find the right word how to describe that. Uh, Before the war in Ukraine, they were really somehow separated, and now even small countries realize that they will get the helping hand. For instance, there is Moldova bordering with Ukraine, and you know there is a territory of Moldova that was also occupied by Russians a while ago. Yes, so there it's called Transnistria or something. Yeah, so there is a small part bordering, they occupied this part in Moldova a while ago, and they were threatening, like they were making some provocation there, as if Ukrainian army was attacking these territories to involve Moldova and these territories in this war. Yeah. So, and today, if I'm not mistaken, the president of Moldova even publicly started talking that they actually against the whole invasion that was done to Ukraine by Russia. Before this time, they were a little bit, you know, silent. They did not try to get involved into that, because there is no army there, as far as I understand. As far as I know, they're very weak in the military sense. So that is the reason. But right now they are starting to head up, and they're starting to talk as well, because this territory that was occupied there in Moldova, it was not, you know, proclaimed officially that is some sort of a republic or something. It's like, you know, this is just the same scenario that is being done for 100 years. Like, this is the same mold, and only right now the world is starting to react somehow. And I think that to my mind, that the first and the crucial, you know, mistake that was done is that when Ukraine was invaded the first time, I mean, the Crimea issue, this is actually the starting point that gave way to all of this that is happening right now. So, and I believe that Europe and the rest of the world that could actually react to that now. I mean, react not only orally, but with some actions.
Yeah.
That the world right now realizes that, because it's getting closer to them. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a psychologist to tell you what I'm going to tell you, but I just want to tell you that what I'm going to tell you next. I had a conversation with a Irish neuroscientist, and I had this conversation just to understand what, you know, is the general idea and the general problem, I mean, with the Russian mentality, because people are a group species. Yeah. So we live in groups, and we used to that living in centuries. Yeah. So we understand that if the majority thinks that way, supposedly this is right. You see, so, and it turns a very useful tool in the hands of a tyrant. Okay. So I think that this is a perfect means of leading the propaganda, because in the end, as we see, all of the targets that the Russian regime wanted to achieve here in Ukraine with this invasion came to nothing, because none of them is achieved. And what they are doing right now is just occupying territories. They are getting the land and the resources, all of the resources, including the human ones. You see, so initially, they wanted just to change the regime or something. Yeah, they didn't manage to do anything. I mean, the regime, they called that the regime, because it was, you know, we're living in Ukraine has always been democratic. So it's hard for me personally, it's even hard to understand how they think. Yeah, because I have never been oppressed here, and I have always had a chance to express myself in any way possible. So this is how we live here. So for Ukrainians, it's really hard to understand their mentality because it's very different. We are very different mentally. This is like something that was cherished throughout centuries. Yeah. So even if you check, even if you check these Ukrainian tales, there are folk music, everything connected to the society. You can trace that what we cherish here. First of all, this is freedom, beauty, and hard work. I think these are three ground stones that society is being built on, because this is what's being taught to children since like childhood. And I think it's getting imprinted in the mind. But this is just my personal point of view. It's like you see the world, every one of us is seeing the world in its own perspective. Yeah. But in general, you can like why nations are somehow alike, because every nation has some sort of similar vision of life in general. Yeah, because it was based on language. I think that language is very important tool, since when the kid is learning a language, there are some processes being going on in the brain, and some these neural nets being created, and the way the actual language is constructed also influences the way the person thinks. Like this is what I used to believe. So okay, I got evaded again. Get me back to the initial question.
Okay, so that's perfect. Right on. So let me ask you two more questions, and I know you're busy and working. So one, and it might be a part A and a B of each question, but you're still in an undisclosed location, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to. I'm planning to go to the capital soon, because I've got some work to do there. So, but right now I'm still here for this whole period of time. I've been here like working from this place, and every day, yesterday and the day before yesterday, I was walking out, and the moment I'm walking out on the streets, I'm seeing I'm watching. I'm listening to the sirens. They are roaring all day long. So basically, people cannot just stand in basements throughout the day. This is not possible. So you understand that sometimes even me, I caught myself thinking that I'm getting myself into danger, like walking in the street with the siren, and I have to either run home quickly, or I have to find some shelter nearby, and I don't know where it is. And or I have to go to finish what I'm about to do and then come back. So for you to understand, every day we are having this curfew, so we are not allowed to switch on the light after 9 p.m. And yeah, this is troublesome, but I cannot complain at all, because what other people has suffered and has been through is nothing compared to all of this. So it's like I cannot even be complaining a bit about that.
So if you were to return to your home or where you lived, does it even exist as you know it? Is that if people
I checked, and it exists so far. I'm glad to know that. Yeah, but it's every time it's a little bit scary to look in the we are having this apartment chat in the I don't know how to call that, like a chat in the messenger with my neighbors.
Sure.
So we're exchanging messages there, and we have not done that for a month. I was started thinking that something had happened there, but then a message turned up that it was still okay. The building was whole. So yeah, but still I read that the capital of Ukraine is threatened, and as you see, there is no safe place here. Even here, any other place where I am, a couple of weeks ago, there was a missile shot down by our Ukrainian, I don't know, by this Ukrainian anti air defense,
anti-aircraft kind of thing.
Yeah. So they so this missile was put down, but still it hit the building. so even if the missile is put down, it can hurt.
Mm.
But children, I'm very pleased to watch like children running around and singing Ukrainian songs. So you know what, right now we are even more aware who we are.
Beautiful. And are there Russian soldiers near where you are, or would that be too much information to share? And if you can't, we can move on that question. If you know.
Here where I am, I can say that they're not very close, but the place where I am right now is a little bit bordering to the region where the active battles are underway, so undergoing.
Gotcha.
So this is the thing.
Okay, cool. So you are a journalist and you're continuing to work, and that's probably why you're in an undisclosed location, because it sounds like you're essentially living to deliver factual information not only to the people of Ukraine but to the world. Did I make a jump there? Or because you're delivering stories to the TV stations or to the news outlets, or kind of share with me what your work is entailing right now?
So look, right now we are trying to even deliver the accurate news to the Russian speaking audience.
Oh, yeah.
We are trying to do that, but honestly, I am very scared that it can hardly reach their minds. You know what? To my mind, that a very big problem is that for a long period of time, Russian news and Russian propaganda was brainwashing Europe and the rest of the world. As you know, there were Russian channels in Europe broadcasting 24/7. To be honest, I did not know that. And I can only imagine what information was broadcast there. I can tell you that even right now, what Russian authorities are doing on the occupied territory, they're going to organize some sort of, a public talk or something. They are going to involve some even foreign media to cover this event or something. So I can really understand what is going to be soon broadcast for the West. And what we're doing right now, we have to be quicker than that. We have to deliver information quicker than them for the world to know what's happening. Because if you are having it's very hard to tell what's right or wrong. Of course, right now, the world has seen their real faces. So I'm 95% sure that their propaganda is to no effect anymore. But still, there is some small percentage of people who, especially those who had something to do with Russia, they are spreading this information. They're in Europe. They're spreading fake information. They're still telling that Ukrainian forces are shelling Ukrainian villages, Ukrainian towns, and Ukrainian people. That is just insane, because you saw yourself how Ukrainians are fighting for every single Ukrainian here. Because to my mind, Ukrainian people is the greatest treasure that we have. We don't care about the buildings, we don't care about the properties, because it will all be rebuilt with our Ukrainian hands. So we care about our people first of all, in the first place. No matter if these people are in Lviv, in the west of Ukraine, in the center, in Kiev, or in the east, in Kharkiv, Luhansk, or Donetsk. You understand this? So it doesn't matter. We don't tell who is more Ukrainian or who is less Ukrainian. And as far as I understand, Russian propaganda has turned to some other ways of delivering information, because they're watching that no one is believing these biolaboratories. I mean, this nonsense that was spread. And you know what? I was even more shocked that there were really people believing that. I thought that it was some kind of a joke, because no one who has got reasonable thinking can even think about some, if you heard about these fighting geese,
geese. Poisoning the geese and flying them.
It was something, no, it was nonsense. But still, I know that there are people who are believing this. And I cannot explain how that can reach the minds and how this information can make them believe it. I don't know. So the first thing what we are doing, we are doing it 24/7. Like, we are translating the news, we are checking everything, we are checking the West, how the West is also reacting. So but I would like to know how this information is being delivered there in Russia, because it's a vice versa. I had them access to some Telegram channels to just peep and see how they're presenting that. And it's so aggressive and destructive, and it's teaching people to hate. This is all that they're about. They're about hatred. And I don't know how Ukrainians could be hated that much by them. I don't know why, honestly.
Your work is inspiring, and hopefully people will see and listen to you and to this conversation and be inspired themselves to reach out and help or assist and make sure that BS and propaganda doesn't spread. So if somebody—
Please do everything to hinder the propaganda machine, the Russian propaganda machine, because it's really powerful. It's been powerful for quite a long period of time. And I'm really happy that the world is not that blindfolded anymore.
What could people do? So where would you like them to go? If somebody said, I'm going to go to my computer right now and look something up, would they go to your YouTube channel, or would they find you somewhere for more information? Do you have any suggestions for that from, like, say, from countries that aren't seeing your reports?
I think that right now there are a lot of reliable sources of information for the time being. Yes. And first of all, what I would like people to do is to check, because I even heard that some of the Russian resources are getting, they're mimicking, if I can say that, they're trying to, transform their resources to look like the Western ones or something. Yeah, so everything should be really fact-checked right now. And what I would recommend, we are working on the webpage that is called U24 World. We have launched 3 channels. Yeah, it's a TikTok one, it's a Twitter one, and it's a Facebook one. So they can be also followed. We are delivering the information there. So this is how the accurate information can be attained. But I think that those who's been interested in getting the truthful news, they have already got their resources to get it. Yeah. So right now, what I would, call for is to other people outside Ukraine. I want them to urge their governments provide the weapons for Ukraine, because you understand that if there is a problem, if there is an illness, it should be cured. And Ukraine is a doctor today. The weapon that is provided to us is a cure. So you understand what I mean. So right now we are functioning like this, and only with these joint efforts, the ultimate aim can be gained.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. Godspeed to you, my friend.
Thank you for your time. I do appreciate that.
I will share in the notes to this video or podcast episode where you can find U24, the stories that are coming out of Ukraine that have been fact-checked for any propaganda, and they will all be linked there. I hope you'll take some time to follow and listen to the stories that are coming out of there. And I hope you'll take some time to reach back out to me, whether you want to talk to me here on YouTube or on my podcast, The Happiness Quotient. But you can find me on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm everywhere. As Gary Vaynerchuk says, if you're not in those places, you're not relevant. And so I'm endeavoring to reach out and find you, my listeners, anywhere that you might be, because these stories of people and places are vitally important to our human nature. So come back often, share it with those you care about, and I will see you all real soon on the Happiness Quotient.